My husband fired me to promote his mistress. He forgot I own the client list. He thought was the sales genius. He was just the guy buying lunch. Before the fall, we were the golden couple. Or at least that's what Apex Logistics wanted everyone to believe. It was 2 p.m. on a Friday. The trading floor was chaotic. A container ship carrying $5 million worth of electronics was stuck in the Suez Canal due to a paperwork error. Adrian was in his glass office, laughing on the phone with a client, probably talking about golf handicaps. I was on the floor, surrounded by 3 monitors, speaking rapid-fire Spanish to a Port Authority officer in Panama. "Listen to me, Miguel," I said into the headset. "The bill of lading is amended. Check email. Container 402. Clear it now, or I'm calling the embassy." 30 seconds later, the green light flashed on my screen. Cleared. A cheer went up from the logistics team. "Camila saved the day again," someone shouted. I took off my headset and rubbed my temples. This was my life. I was the head of operations. I made the impossible happen. Adrian walked out of his office. He looked fresh, rested. He smelled like expensive cologne. "Good job, babe," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. He put a hand on my shoulder. "See, this is why we're the best team. I sell 'em, you ship 'em." He winked at the new marketing intern, Bella. Bella giggled. She was 24. She was wearing a skirt that was definitely against the dress code, but nobody said anything because she was creative. She spent most of her day making TikToks in the break room about office life. "Are we still on for dinner?" I asked Adrian quietly. "It's our anniversary weekend." Actually, Adrian checked his watch. "I have a mandatory touch base with HR at 4:45, late meeting." "You go home, I'll meet you there." I frowned. A meeting at 4:45 on a Friday. Corporate stuff, he waved his hand. Boring. "Go home, Camila. You look tired." I did look tired. I had been carrying this department and my husband's career for 7 years. "Okay," I said. "See you at home." I didn't know that home was about to feel a lot different. At 4:40 p.m., just as I was packing my bag, my calendar pinged. Subject: mandatory touch base. Host: Adrian Mercer, VP of Sales. Location: Conference Room B. Attendee: Camila Mercer. I stared at the screen. Why was he inviting me to his HR meeting? I grabbed my notebook. I assumed we were discussing the Peterson account, the massive contract I had just saved. Maybe it was a bonus. Maybe it was a promotion. I walked down the hall. I saw Bella walking ahead of me. She entered Conference Room B. My stomach dropped. I walked in. Adrian was sitting at the head of the table. He wasn't smiling. Sitting next to him was Linda, the HR director. She looked miserable. She wouldn't meet my eyes. And sitting in the corner, scrolling on her phone, was Bella. "Close the door," Camila, Adrian said. His voice was cold, professional. Like I was a stranger he had just met in an elevator. "What's going on?" I asked, sitting down. "Is everything okay with the Peterson shipment?" I cleared the customs hold. "This isn't about Peterson," Adrian said. He slid a thick folder across the mahogany table. "This is about the restructuring." "Restructuring?" As the new VP, Adrian said, puffing out his chest slightly. "I've been tasked with trimming the fat, streamlining operations, optimizing the org chart." He paused for effect. "Unfortunately, your role has been identified as redundant." I laughed. It was a reflex. I actually laughed out loud. "Redundant," I said. "Adrian, I run the entire supply chain. If I don't approve the manifests, the ships don't leave the dock. Who is going to do my job? You." Adrian bristled. "I could if I wanted to, but no, we're promoting from within." He gestured to the corner. "Bella will be stepping in as Director of Client Relations," Adrian said. "We're pivoting to a more modern approach. Less spreadsheets, more engagement. Clients want to feel connected. Bella understands the social landscape." I looked at Bella. She smirked. She popped her gum. "Engagement?" I asked, my voice rising. "Adrian, does she know the difference between a bill of lading and a commercial invoice? Does she know the port codes for Shanghai?" "I'm a fast learner," Bella chirped. "Besides, Adrian says the job runs itself. It's mostly just vibes." Vibes. I looked at my husband, the man I shared a bed with, the man whose student loans I helped pay off with my bonuses. You're firing me for vibes? It's business, Camila, Adrian said, avoiding my eyes. He looked at a spot on the wall behind me. It's a conflict of interest to have a husband and wife in leadership. The board agrees. It's better this way. You can stay home. Focus on, I don't know, gardening. You've always said you wanted a break. Maybe we can try for a baby. Don't you dare talk about a baby, I hissed. You're firing me to give my job to your girlfriend? The room went silent. That is an unfounded accusation, Adrian said robotically. Linda, please proceed with the offboarding. Sign the severance package, Linda from HR said softly, sliding a pen toward me. It's 2 weeks' pay, and we need your badge and laptop immediately. 2 weeks? I stood up. I've been here 7 years. I built this department. Take it or leave it, Adrian said sharply. If you don't sign, we'll fight the unemployment claim. We'll say it was for cause, insubordination. He looked at me with dead eyes. I saw the cruelty there. This wasn't about conflict of interest. This was about erasing me. He wanted the younger model in the office, and he wanted my salary to pay for her. I took off my badge. I threw it on the table. It slid across and hit Bella's coffee cup with a loud clack. Fine, I said, I'm gone. But Adrian, you're going to regret this. You think you're the genius. You're just the guy who buys lunch? I doubt it, he smirked, putting his hand on Bella's shoulder. I think our best days are just starting. Security. 2 guards walked in. Men I had bought Christmas presents for. Escort Ms. Mercer out of the building, Adrian ordered. Do not let her access any computers. I walked out. I walked past the open office. My team watched in silence. They looked terrified. I walked out into the parking lot. It had started to rain. I held my box of personal items, a stapler, a photo of my dog, a mug that said Boss Lady. I cried for exactly 10 minutes in my car. I screamed until my throat was raw. Then I stopped crying. I wiped my face. And I started remembering. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. Also, have you ever had to train someone who was completely unqualified for your job? Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I drove home. The house was quiet. I knew Adrian wouldn't be home for hours. He would be celebrating the restructuring with Bella, probably expensing champagne on the company card. I poured myself a glass of wine. My hands were shaking. I went into our home office. I needed to check our finances. If I was unemployed, we needed to budget. I needed to see how much damage he was about to do. I opened the filing cabinet. I found Adrian's work bag. He had left it there that morning because he took his gym bag instead. I opened it. I know I shouldn't have, but I was past the point of ethics. Inside, I found a receipt crumbled at the bottom. The Ritz-Carlton. Room 402. Champagne and strawberries. Date, last Tuesday. Last Tuesday. When he told me he was working late on the budget forecast. And then, I found something even more damning. A draft email printed out. It was addressed to the CEO, Mr. Pendergast. Subject, transition plan, cost savings. Body, Arthur, I've identified a major efficiency win. By removing Camila, we can consolidate our operations salary, $120K, into the marketing budget. This will free up funds for the new client experience initiative, i.e. Bella. Camila is old school. She's dead weight. She lacks the vision for the next phase. Dead weight. He fired me to fund his affair. He fired me to give my salary to his girlfriend. My rage turned into ice. It settled in my chest, heavy and cold. I looked at the severance agreement I hadn't signed yet. It was sitting on the desk where I threw it. Clause 9, non-compete agreement. It stated that I couldn't work for a competitor within a 50-mile radius for 12 months. I frowned. I remembered signing a non-compete when I started at Apex 7 years ago. Or did I? I started at Apex as a temp. A temporary admin assistant making $15 an hour. Temps don't sign non-competes. They sign non-disclosures, but not non-competes. When they hired me full-time, 6 months later, Adrian was the sales manager. It was his job to onboard the operations staff. I remembered that day. It was the company Christmas party. Adrian was drunk. He handed me a stack of papers and said, "Just sign these later, babe, we're celebrating." I went to my personal file box, the one where I kept copies of everything. I'm the operations manager, I keep copies of everything. It's a sickness and a superpower. I found my employment contract. Signed, Camila Vance. Date, August 12, 2018. I flipped to the back. Exhibit A, non-disclosure agreement. Signed. Exhibit B, direct deposit form. Signed. Exhibit C, non-solicitation and non-compete. It was blank. There was no signature. Adrian hadn't signed it. And because he didn't countersign it and file it with HR, I hadn't signed it either. We had put it in a pile and forgotten about it in the post-party haze. He was so lazy, so disorganized, even back then, that he forgot to file the most important document in the company. I checked the employee handbook on my saved drive. Policy 4.2, failure to execute the non-compete within 30 days of employment renders the clause void. I sat back in my chair. I didn't have a non-compete. I was a free agent. And I knew every single client's phone number, email address, and shipping preference by heart. I took a sip of wine. "Dead weight," I whispered. I opened my laptop. I didn't open LinkedIn to look for a job. I opened the Secretary of State's website. I clicked Form New LLC. I didn't get mad. I got incorporated. That weekend, while Adrian was at a golf tournament, he was actually at a spa in Napa with Bella. I saw the charges on the joint account. I built my empire. Vance Logistics. I built a website on Squarespace. It looked clean, professional. I set up a secure server in the guest bedroom. I bought a dedicated phone line. On Monday morning at 9 a.m. sharp, while Adrian was likely nursing a hangover, I started making calls. I didn't call the small fish. I called the whales. I called Mr. Peterson, the $10 million account, the electronics importer. "Camila," Mr. Peterson boomed. "I called Apex looking for you this morning." Some girl named Bella answered. She was popping gum in my ear and asked me what a logistics was. I thought it was a prank. "Where are you?" "It wasn't a prank, Mr. Peterson," I said smoothly. "I'm no longer with Apex." "What? Why did you quit?" "They decided to go in a different direction," I said, choosing my words carefully. "A more youthful direction, but here's the good news. I've started my own firm. Vance Logistics. Same service. Same reliability, but my overhead is lower, so I can offer you a 10% discount on your shipping rates." 10%? Peterson paused, "And you'll handle the customs clearance personally. I don't have to deal with the gum chewer." "Personally," I promised. "I'll be the one tracking the ships at 3 a.m. "Send me the contract," Peterson said without hesitation. "I trust you, Camila. Adrian is a nice guy to have a beer with, but I wouldn't trust him to ship a postcard. He talks too much and does too little." One down. Next, I called Global Grain. Camila, the manager, Sarah, sounded frantic. "Thank God you called. We have a shipment of organic wheat stuck in Rotterdam. Apex isn't answering the phone. Bella sent us an email saying the vibes were off with the port authority." "I can fix it," I said. "I know the port master in Rotterdam. His name is Hans. He likes chocolate. I can have it released in an hour." "Do it," Sarah said, "and send me a contract for the rest of the year. We're done with Apex." Two down. One by one, they fell. The auto parts manufacturer, the medical supply company, the luxury furniture importer. They didn't care about Adrian's charm. They didn't care about the client experience or the new logo. They cared about their cargo. They knew that when things went wrong, when a storm hit the Pacific, or a strike shut down a port, I was the one who fixed it. By Wednesday, I had stolen 60% of Apex's revenue. By Friday, I had stolen 80%. I was sitting in my pajamas drinking coffee, making more money in a week than Adrian made in a year. And the best part? Adrian didn't even know yet. He was too busy onboarding Bella. The collapse of Apex Logistics wasn't slow. It was a landslide. I heard about it from Linda in HR. She called me on her personal cell. She liked me. She hated Bella. Apparently on Tuesday morning, the phone stopped ringing. The office was eerily silent. Adrian walked out of his glass office looking confused. "Why is it so quiet?" he asked. "Bella, are you fielding the calls? Are the lines down?" Bella looked up from her phone. She was editing a selfie. "Nobody's calling, babe, I mean. Mr. VP, it's just chill today." Then the emails started. Ping, ping, ping. Cancellation notice from Peterson Industries. Termination of contract from Global Grain. Notice of non-renewal from MedTech Solutions. Adrian panicked. He grabbed his phone. He called Mr. Peterson. "Mr. Peterson?" Adrian shouted into the phone, pacing the floor. "We have a contract. You can't just leave, we have a relationship." "Actually, I can," Peterson said. Linda heard this because Adrian had it on speakerphone, shaking. "My contract has a 30-day exit clause for loss of key personnel. You fired the key personnel, Adrian. You fired the only person who knows how to do the job." "But Bella is the director now," Adrian argued. "She's very capable. Bella sent me an invoice written in Comic Sans font that charged me for shipping stuff without a reference number," Peterson said. "And my cargo is moving on Vance Logistics ships now. Goodbye, Adrian." "Vance Logistics?" Adrian froze. "Vance," he whispered. "Camila." He turned white. "She can't do that," he screamed. "She has a non-compete. She can't steal my clients." He ran to the filing cabinets. He ripped open the drawer so hard the handle broke. He pulled out my personnel file. He flipped through the pages. Papers flew everywhere. He flipped them again. Linda watched him from the doorway, sipping her tea. "Looking for something, Adrian?" she asked calmly. "Where is it?" he screamed, sweat dripping down his forehead. "Where is the non-compete?" "I filed it. I know I filed it. We signed it at the Christmas party." "Actually," Linda said, delivering the death blow, "you didn't. I checked the logs this morning. You marked it as pending in 2018. You never uploaded the signed copy. You were too busy planning the bar tab that year." Adrian slid down the wall. He looked like a deflated balloon. He looked at Bella. "Do something," he yelled at her. "Fix it. Get the clients back. Call them." "I don't know how," Bella cried, dropping her phone. "I don't even know what a pallet is. I thought I was just supposed to post on Instagram. You said the job ran itself." Just then, the double doors opened. It was Mr. Pendergast, the CEO. He was holding a report. He looked furious. Adrian Pendergast said. His voice was low and dangerous. "Why do I have a report saying that $8 million in revenue just evaporated in 48 hours? It's a transition glitch," Adrian stammered, standing up. "Camila is sabotaging us." "Camila is beating you," Pendergast corrected. "She's running circles around you. And this," he pointed at Bella. "This is your strategy. A child who lost a shipment of frozen fish because she didn't know seafood requires refrigeration." "What?" Adrian blinked. "The frozen fish sat on the dock in Miami for 3 days," Pendergast said. "It rotted. The client is suing us for $200,000 because Bella didn't check the refrigerated box on the form." Pendergast looked at Adrian. "You fired the brain, Adrian, and you kept the decoration. Pack your things, both of you." "But now," Pendergast roared, "before I call the police for corporate negligence." That night, Adrian came home. He looked destroyed. His tie was undone. His expensive suit was wrinkled. He smelled like sweat and fear. I was sitting in the living room working on my laptop. The fire was lit. I was booking a container ship for Mr. Peterson. "Camila," he said. His voice was shaking. "Hello, Adrian." I didn't look up. "How was work?" "You stole them," he whispered. "You stole all my clients." "I didn't steal them," I said, typing a command. "I rescued them. They were on a sinking ship. I just offered them a life raft and a competent captain." "I'm going to sue you," he said, taking a step forward. "I'll sue you for everything. Breach of duty. Theft of trade secrets." "With what grounds?" I asked, finally looking at him. "I have no non-compete. I have no non-solicitation. You were too lazy to file the paperwork, Adrian. You were too busy being the sales genius to handle the details. Details matter, Adrian. They're the difference between a shipment arriving and a shipment rotting on the dock." He flinched. He knew about the fish. He fell to his knees. Literally, He crawled over to the couch. Camila, please, he begged. Pendergast fired me. He fired me for gross negligence. He's withholding my severance. If I lose this job, I lose everything. The house, the car, my reputation. You should have thought of that before you fired your wife to hire your mistress, I said coldly. It was a mistake. He cried, grabbing my hand. I pulled it away. Bella meant nothing. It was a midlife crisis. I was stupid. I felt old. She made me feel young, but she's useless, Camila. She ruined everything. Please just come back. Come back to Apex. Bring the clients back. We can fix this. We can be a team again, the power couple. I looked at him. I saw the man I loved for 7 years. And then I saw the man who handed me a cardboard box in the rain. I saw the man who drafted an email calling me deadweight. I am a team, I said. My team is Vance Logistics, and we're not hiring. But I'm your husband, he wailed. We're married. Not for long, I said. I filed the divorce papers this morning. My lawyer served you at the office, but you had already been escorted out. So here, I tossed the envelope onto his lap. And here's the kicker, Adrian. Since Vance Logistics was formed after our separation, date the date you set when you fired me, it's not marital property. The company is 100% mine. I stood up. You have 30 minutes to pack a bag, Adrian. This is my house. The mortgage is in my name. And unlike you, I paid the bills. Where will I go? He asked, tears streaming down his face. Bella won't take me in. She lives with her parents. And Pendergast blacklisted me in the industry. That sounds like a logistics problem, I said. And I don't work for you anymore. He packed his bag. He took his golf clubs. He took his gym bag. He left. I bought the Apex office building 6 months later when the company went bankrupt. Pendergast sold it to me for pennies on the dollar. He even shook my hand and said I backed the wrong horse. I turned Adrian's old glass office into a break room for my staff. I kept Bella's desk, though. It makes a great place to stack my Businesswoman of the Year awards. He thought was the shark. He forgot he was swimming in my ocean. # supply chain issues.